Hey everyone, welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're tuning in, you're probably the kind of developer who wants to stay right on the bleeding edge of software development, right? Well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're diving into a massive architectural shift in the AI world. We are talking about DeepSeek's brand new, completely open source coding agent harness. We're going to break down exactly what makes this release so disruptive and why it really could represent the future of how we all interact with AI. To really grasp the sheer magnitude of this release, I just want you to think about this number for a second. 165,000. That is the number of GitHub stars this framework racked up in just a single week. A week! I mean, in the developer community, that kind of explosive hype is practically unheard of. It signals right away that DeepSeek has tapped into a massive, unmet need in the market. But what is actually driving all this crazy excitement? Well, here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll kick things off by defining this new agent harness. Then we'll look at the power of its plugins, peek inside the agent loop, see how it fits into local AI ecosystems, weigh the pros and cons, and finally explore what this means for the future of coding. All right, Section 1, the new agent harness, breaking out of the black box. We've all been there, right? You're in a daily and sometimes super frustrating battle with an AI coding assistant. Maybe it gets way too wordy, goes off on some bizarre tangent, or just keeps hallucinating the exact same glitch over and over. And the underlying issue with out-of-the-box agents, like Claude Code or Codex, is that you are locked into a black box. You can try to guide it with prompts, sure, but you can't actually get in there and fix its underlying logic. DeepSeek's approach is the exact opposite of that. It's an extensible harness. Think of it as a glass box where you control the models, the modularity, and the entire user interface. So the absolutely crucial thing to grasp here is what we mean by a self-extensible agent. Basically, it's an AI framework built entirely out of modular plugins. And I don't just mean you can tack a plugin on at the end. I mean literally everything in the interface, down to the attach file button and the context injection, is a plugin you can just toggle on or off. It is almost absurd how modular it is. And because it's wired this way, the agent can actively modify its own inner loop and actually whip up new tools to improve itself. Which brings us to Section 2, the power of plugins. Let's talk about these awesome Lego-like building blocks of autonomy. DeepSeek's harness is so much more than a simple chat window. Right out of the gate, you have these distinct modes you can jump into. You've got standard mode for your normal sessions, YOLO mode if you just want to rip off all the guardrails, creator mode for building your own plugins, and this is incredible, an orchestrator mode where you can actually call upon other AI coding agents to do the heavy lifting for you. The sheer breadth of this tool is just staggering. But honestly, the most mind-bending part of this whole thing is creator mode. It is totally like the movie Inception. Let's say you want a quick little feature that fetches the number of stars a GitHub repository has. Step 1, you just ask the agent for it. Step 2, the agent asks you some clarifying questions and then literally writes the code for the plugin itself. And step 3, it automatically installs that brand new plugin straight into your user interface. You just built a tool by talking to the framework that houses the tool. Wild, right? Moving into Section 3, inside the agent loop. This is where the harness gives you total auditability and control. Think about the concept of a trajectory view for a second. If you've ever messed around with AI observability platforms like LangFuse or Langsmith, you'll know exactly what this is. Built right into your conversation is this X-ray vision that tracks every single context injection and every tool call. You can click on literally any action the agent took and see the exact source plugin that triggered it. That level of absolute transparency, you just simply do not get that with lockdown tools like Pi. But wait, what if DeepSeek's native models isn't actually the best fit for a super specific task? Well, since everything is a plugin, you just use sub-agent delegation. Let's say you need to write a highly complex Python function, and you happen to trust Codex more for that specific job. No problem, just delegate it. You can call Claude, Code, or Codex as sub-agents directly inside your larger workflow. The harness just gracefully reasons about whatever comes back and keeps the conversation rolling. This deep modularity also means instant problem solving. Out of the box, DeepSeek is a text-only model. It cannot natively see images. But instead of sitting around waiting for some massive corporate update, you can just hop into the third-party plugin marketplace. You grab a plugin called ModLens, and boom, it acts as a vision bridge, magically granting your text-only agent the ability to process PNGs and JPEGs through a completely separate tool call. Let's broaden our lens bit for Section 4, local AI ecosystems. This whole customizable harness idea really parallels a massive growing movement toward fully local environments. A perfect parallel to this philosophy of modularity and control is a platform called QAC Tether. It isn't just a way to run a model, it actually gives you an entire local AI ecosystem behind a single NPM install. We're talking text, image, video, and speech generation, all utilizing local open models like Queen 34B and DeepSeek. And the absolute best part? It's Apache 2.0 open source, and there are exactly 0 API keys required. That means no rate limits and definitely no sudden price hikes. And this brilliantly illustrates why local AI is becoming absolutely critical. Imagine a real-world scenario at a highly secure law firm or a bank. You have a desktop app querying an SQLite database about client debt. Using local retrieval augmented generation and a model like Qwen 34B, a user can just ask questions in plain English. The model generates the query, retrieves the data, and formulates the answer 100% locally. The machine could literally be on airplane mode. When you're dealing with data that legally cannot leave the building, these self-contained, customizable local ecosystems are really the only viable way to ship AI features. Okay, section 5, weighing pros and cons. This all sounds amazing, but let's bring it back down to earth for a second. Is this ultra-minimalistic, steep learning curve approach actually right for everyone today? Let's look at this comparison totally impartially. If you go with out-of-the-box tools like Claude or Codex, your setup time is instant, and the stability is highly refined. It just works. However, your customization is rigidly locked down. On the flip side, DeepSeek's extensible harness demands a pretty high investment in setup time. And just being totally honest, right now it is unrefined and a bit glitchy. Tool calls and plugins will occasionally fail. But the trade-off is infinite customization. It has an incredibly high ceiling, even if it has some rough edges today. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, the future of coding. So what does this actually mean for the everyday software developer over the next year or two? Well, while out-of-the-box tools are fantastic today, the ultimate goal is getting to a workflow where your coding agent works alongside you as a perfectly customized, well-oiled machine, something tailored to your exact codebase, your specific habits, and your unique deployment pipelines. Investing the time to really understand and build upon a self-extensible harness right now, that is going to pay massive dividends when these systems inevitably become the industry standard. So I'll leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. We are rapidly approaching an era of self-evolving software. If we are already trusting coding agents to autonomously build our applications, shouldn't they be allowed to creatively evolve their own tools to do the job better? Well, DeepSeek's new harness suggests that the answer to that is a resounding yes. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it sparks some fascinating ideas for your own development workflows. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next one.